Saturday, February 17th, 1978. 23-year-old Stephen Kubacki straps on his skis, glides onto the frozen surface of Lake Michigan, then vanishes. Not a trace, no hole in the ice, no splash, just footprints that end as if he was literally plucked out of existence. 15 months later, May 5th, 1979. He wakes up in a Massachusetts meadow 700 miles east, dressed in someone else's jogging gear and carrying Scandinavian road maps. He phones his parents and says 4 words. "Hi Mom, I'm back." Now we break open the old police logs, newly leaked counseling notes, and Reddit source sleuth files to ask, where did Stephen Kubacki spend those lost 462 days? I'm John Genoa, and this is America's Strangest History. We're looking into the case of Stephen Kubacki, the college kid who slipped through time, or maybe something worse? Let's begin. Hope College, Holland, Michigan, a small Christian liberal arts campus on the shores of Lake Michigan. Stephen Kubacki, 23 years old, senior year, German major with a track scholarship and a varsity cross-country skier with a 3.6 GPA. Saturday morning, February 17th, 1978. Temperature was around 18 degrees Fahrenheit, winds at 8 knots off the lake. Stephen borrows a pair of blue skis, signs out of his dorm at 10:03 a.m., and heads west onto the shoreline trails. He tells his hallmate, "If I'm not back by dinner, start without me." Stephen skis the shoreline trails towards Saugatuck Dunes. By dusk, he hasn't returned. 2 snowmobilers searching the frozen shoreline spot a pair of skis and a backpack abandoned near the ice edge. Bare footprints lead 200 feet onto the frozen Lake Michigan and end abruptly. No hole, no broken ice, just nothing. County Sheriff Al Hartman called the Coast Guard. A search ensued. Chopper sorties, side-scan sonar, divers, 30 volunteers, and state police dogs combed the area. They ultimately found nothing. By day 6, the search was suspended. Stephen's presumed to have drowned in the lake somewhere beneath the ice. Hope College holds a memorial service. His parents accept his diploma in his absence, and the case all but freezes solid. Fast forward, May 5th, 1979. Now that's 15 months later. Sunrise in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. A field caretaker named Harold Caldwell notices a dazed young man stumbling near Tamarack Road. He's wearing clothes that don't belong to him. A Wisconsin Marathon t-shirt, a stranger's jogging shoes, a small satchel stuffed with foreign Scandinavian road maps, and $40 in cash. So he hitchhikes to his aunt's house in Great Barrington, calls his parents, and calmly says, "I'm back." Doctors find mild dehydration, no frostbite, no injuries, and absolutely no memory after he first set out on the trail. So, the burning question, what happened? Well, let's sift through the paper trail and find out. Police reports, now digitized, show bloodhounds tracked Stephen's scent away from the lake towards the wooded dunes, kind of contradicting the news reports that said his tracks led out onto the ice. FBI interview notes label him courteous but amnesic. No crime, no charges, case closed? Not quite. Stephen refuses nearly every interview. A 2019 email to podcaster Micah Hanks reads, quote, "I do not trade trauma for clicks." Today, he's a practicing clinical psychologist in Seattle, holds a PhD in linguistics, and, most importantly, keeps off social media. That's all well and good, but hordes of armchair detectives haven't let this case go. On Reddit's Unsolved Mysteries, we find historical ice thickness data around a foot thick on the day Stephen vanished. Too thick to break? In a September 2023 Reddit post, Stephen's dorm mate claimed Stephen studied the Tibetan Book of the Dead and kept a notebook entitled Quantum Theology. Oddly, the post was deleted within 2 hours of going up. The alleged dorm mate claims Stephen was obsessed with Jungian dreams and flying east, whatever that means. The thread's gone now, but screenshots can still be found online. And then there's the Lake Michigan Triangle. It's a patch of water infamous for plane disappearances and compass failures. Kubacki stepped off the shoreline right at the triangle's southernmost point. A leaked 1980 Hope College counseling memo references Stephen's, quote, recurring dreams of an underground city and the feeling of being rewritten. Adds an ominous aspect to this case. Perhaps something paranormal's at work here. A 2024 podcast played a cassette allegedly mailed by Stephen in 1985. Reverse speech analysis revealed German phrases talking about constellations, maybe a clue. In 2023, the website StephenKubacki.com appeared. It teased about a forthcoming memoir entitled Relativity and promised material about the place where mathematics broke reality. Is he referencing the location of his disappearance? Can't say for certain. Publication date is set for September 9th, 2025. I've already reserved my copy. 4 theories compete for dominance here. 1. An extreme dissociative fugue. Medical textbooks agree that total amnesia is certainly a possibility, but 15 months would be record-shattering, making this pretty unlikely. 2. Voluntary disappearance. But where's the evidence? It's possible, I suppose, but new clothes, the foreign maps, no indications of a struggle. Also, he left things behind. His cash, his ID, unpaid tuition. Doesn't seem to fit the runaway narrative. 3. Criminal abduction. Drugging plus trauma could wipe memory, yet no physical harm, no ransom, no police trail, just a whole lot of unanswered questions here. In fact, I might go so far as to say that the complete lack of evidence in this case is really quite remarkable. 4. There's the paranormal wild card. Perhaps Stephen encountered a literal slip through the Lake Michigan Triangle. Witnesses who experienced this phenomenon have provided similar testimony, but unfortunately, scientific evidence remains thin. It's a strange case. The lack of information is almost as disconcerting as the information we do have. The thing that stands out to me is the bare footprints leading away from the lake towards the wooded dunes. Also, the fact that the bloodhounds tracked his scent there as well. I'm thinking hypothermia. His mind was confused, he stripped off his clothes and wandered off somewhere in the wilderness. He was injured or incapacitated in some fashion. Someone happened upon him and nursed him back to health, maybe cared for him until he regained his memory. There's a lot of holes in my theory, like where did his clothes go? What's the deal with the Scandinavian maps? How did he care for himself during the 15-month absence? That being said, which theory do you buy? Today, Stephen Kubacki walks among us, married, a father, psychologist, yet a year of his life vanished in the 1970s. Was it a dissociative fugue? Foul play, or maybe a fissure in time itself? Maybe it was a well-executed hoax. But to what end? He's taken extreme measures to stay off the radar and away from public scrutiny. I really can't say for certain what happened to Stephen and where he spent the missing 15 months of his life. Maybe that's why this case fascinates me. Perhaps it's the lack of information that really fuels the mystery here. What happened? 15 months. How did he eat? Where did he sleep? Go to the bathroom? Get his clothes he was wearing? These are just a few of the questions that come to mind right now. I'm really curious to hear what you think happened here. There's very little to go on. In the end, I believe that his silence may turn out to be the most significant clue to solving this mystery. If you skied Lake Michigan that winter or your family kept photos of the search, email us at ash@americasstrangesthistory.com. Your tip could end up rewriting this entire narrative. For now, this case remains an unsolved mystery, something we can't explain. Personally, I'm waiting for Stephen's book. Maybe it will shed some light on this case and finally put the speculation to bed, and that's where we'll leave it. Please hit like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more. Till next time, I'm John Genoa, and this is America's Strangest History. Thanks for watching.